Plug in, power on, and dive into tech. Welcome to Brainwaves.
With Curtis Condon.
And Andrew Rogoff. It's been quite a while.
Yes. We're back. We're back.
We are indeed back.
Without Ryan, without R1 or R2. But we got Terry.
Hi,
Terry's
Terry.
waving his little tail. Hey, Terry. I'm sure Bella's somewhere nearby.
Yep. Let's see.
Nice. So what do we got today?
China's open source AI models surged to global prominence in 2025. Chinese models are currently occupying 9 of the top 10 positions on Hugging Face's rankings. Companies like Alibaba's Qwen, DeepSeek, and Jipu AI, better known as ZAI, are delivering competitive performance that rivals their Western counterparts, with DeepSeek and Qwen even outperforming models like GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4.5 in some real-world applications. The enterprise LLM market in China has exploded, reaching 10.2 trillion daily tokens in mid-2025, a 363% increase from the previous year, demonstrating massive adoption and practical application across industries. How might China's dominance in open source AI models reshape global technology standards and influence the balance of power between open source and proprietary AI development worldwide?
Having any sort of impact on how the AI stocks are performing here in the US?
I mean,
You
Nvidia just
know?
hit $5 trillion.
Yeah. And the biggest movers this week, in the market are like Nvidia, Microsoft, Alphabet. And so I I they're competing with each other, but it's not like impacting either's growth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a weird, maybe that because you've messed around. I know you've messed around with DeepSeek. Maybe the user adoption in the US for those hasn't really happened. Maybe it's just in the Asia market, and like over here, we're not even thinking about those platforms.
I mean, I have something to show you real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, show me.
So, this is the top 10 for programming specifically AI models on OpenRouter. So, if you can look, a Chinese model, Chinese model, Chinese model, and this is
Right.
from just today alone, from the past 3 days roughly.
Do
50 billion
you think it's
tokens.
because like the American models are moving away from being program based as far as like that being what they're doing,
I mean,
their core competency?
not necessarily. Grok Code Fast 1 is okay, but it's dirt cheap. Claude Sonnet 4.5 is very popular and very good at programming, but expensive. Same with Claude Sonnet 4. GLM 4.6, we're going to talk about later, but I really like. Gemini 2.5 Flash is pretty cheap. GPT-5 is pretty good for the price. Claude Haiku 4.5, I don't really know why. But yeah, Chinese models are kicking butt. I cannot hear you. Your audio is not coming through.
How's that?
There we go.
Yeah, so it's switching to my iPhone.
Hmm,
So I just switched it off. Sorry.
that's fine.
Um, do you think that like the development community here domestically is using those tools? Like, is there a way to look and see like user adoption by region? That would be interesting, right?
It would. I do not know if that's really a
Maybe
thing.
for next time
Yeah.
we should look at that.
But like in my admittedly flawed tests, but specifically around programming, I found, for example, GLM 4.6 to be very good.
Yeah. Because like my friends and family that, are using AI, are using models, it's not for development. They're doing it for, problem solving or help with work.
Yeah,
Um, so these sort of things. And they're just using Gemini or they're
yeah,
using GBT. Um, so, I mean, it's interesting that they're doing so well, but it hasn't. Do you remember? I think it was like 6 months, maybe it was longer ago, like 8 months ago when DeepSeek
just
came
that was
out.
in January. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So a year ago. And you did some tests with it and word got out and it did impact the market
yeah,
for a lot of these AI.
$600 billion.
Yeah. But like a lot of people traded off these AIs here, but then they rebounded
Yeah,
and, it doesn't seem like China moving so quickly ahead of us, you know, I guess if you look at it as a whole, is not impacting like the values of these companies or
yeah,
their spend.
yeah. I think part of it is the Chinese companies are also collaborating with each other
Mm.
a lot. So, for example, ZAI, DeepSeek, and Quen all receive funding from Alibaba, partially. So, again, and I'm expecting that they're all at least partially subsidized by the government
Oh, for sure.
because this is a very expensive business.
Yeah.
And in addition, the Chinese government has also banned using US chips pretty much. So now they have to switch to stuff made by Alibaba,
Hmm.
which apparently is pretty good, but not power efficient in the slightest.
Mm. Yeah, I got kicked off on this semiconductor company. I think it's TMC or something like that.
TSMC,
Yeah,
yeah,
Taiwan
semiconductor
Yeah,
company.
yeah. Um, it's a good buy right now.
Yeah,
But then I looked at them, and they're trading at like $300 a share right now. I think on the Nasdaq.
yeah.
Uh,
They're the world's biggest foundry.
yeah. So what do you think? I should make a little play, make a little trade? But you don't give financial advice, so you're
No,
not
I
going to
do
tell
not.
me.
No, I do not.
Oh man! All right, what's up next?
Speaking back to AI, the AI landscape is witnessing an intense performance showdown between, again, Western and Chinese models. Claude Sonnet 4.5, Anthropic's latest model, is leading in coding benchmarks at 77.2% on SweBench and 96.2% success rate on diff edits, so editing files in specific areas.
Okay.
However, some Chinese alternatives are closing the gap rapidly. GLM 4.6 from ZEI achieves 94.9% on diff edits and similar performance on SweBench, while being 6 to 7x more cost effective than Claude. And
Hmm.
Minimax M2 claims equivalent performance to both GPT-5 and Sonnet 4.5 across certain benchmarks. These models emphasize efficiency with sparse architectures. Minimax M2, for example, only uses 10 billion active parameters from 200 total. So in any given use, it'll only use 10 billion of the 200 active to make it much more efficient and faster.
Mhm.
So it still
Mhm.
has to have it all loaded into memory, but it uses less total and makes it faster and cheaper. So it's dramatically lower costs and challenging premium pricing of some of the AI giants. So, as these models achieve near parity performance at substantially lower costs, should enterprises prioritize cost efficiency over established Western models? Or do certain factors like reliability, ecosystem integration, and geopolitical considerations still justify the premium price?
Well, I also think you got to take another thing into consideration for enterprise customers looking to fold this stuff in is all of it is cheaper than staffing.
Yeah.
And so, if they look at it and say the cost for a Western solution is, you know, I'm just throwing a number out, 25 grand. And the cost for an Eastern solution is 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to save no matter what we do, 50 grand. Then they might, because of like the geopolitical, it just makes that an easier pill to swallow, right?
Mm.
So I think that's going to play a big part in that because I don't even know if we're at a space yet where those companies, the Eastern companies, or even the Western AIs, where they're in a position where they're selling at scale. So I don't even know that it's like, if you think about what we do or I do or whatever on the in IT is like there's these RFPs that go out or RFIs that go out, and there are these vendors that are the best fit for that project, and you're establishing a relationship with the client to where they think of you when the RFP or RFI goes out. So then that enterprise client is looking at 10 different companies, and they're doing pros and cons and weighing everything up, price, personnel, expertise, etc. I don't think that AI is there yet. Like, I don't think that I'll throw just a random, but like, I don't think Bank of America is going, all right, here are 4 Eastern AI companies that we can put in whatever department that'll do X. And here are 4 Western that we can do.
Yeah.
I think it's so new, Andrew. I don't think that's happening yet, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it's even competitive yet. It's like totally wide open.
Is yeah, like I, for example, do not use like a lot of the chat sites from a lot of the Chinese AI providers because I do not like my data being logged. I will usually go through the API, which is usually a bit more private. Like ZAI,
Right.
for example, their API does not log at all, and I found to be very good, very reliable, and the
How
models
are
are
you
open. So
Are you are
if
you
I
managing everything through just a browser?
or command line usually.
Okay.
So like if I wanted to, for
You're
example,
not downloading the app and
no,
okay.
no, like I often use Open Router, for example. They're generally just the gold standard.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
let me show
Nice.
an example.
Yeah, hold on, let me pull it up. Let me look.
Say I wanted to use GLM 4.6.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are a variety of providers I could choose at a variety of different prices. So, as well as different quantization, so compression essentially. So, if I wanted to use ZAI here, I could look at what is supported, what its speed is, how reliable it is, and pricing.
Hold on, let me make this bigger where I can see it.
Of course.
Yeah. So you're just running this through Open Router.
Yeah. They're kind of just the gold standard. And
Hmm.
again, because the model is open, you could see other providers that also have it. And they're all competing with each other.
And how, and those providers are basically able to do this because
Because the model
they're
is
buying.
open, ZAI just releases it. You can just download it and run it if you had the hardware for it.
Yeah. So then they're just aggregating.
Yep.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I do very much appreciate, though, the fact that, hey, if the company wants to make money, they can host their own infra and serve over the API as well. They can charge for that. I have no problem with that.
Hmm.
It
You want me
is
to do a little quick topic here?
sure.
Interested to get your take because this seems like this is what I got sent a Spider-Man meme. Actually, I'll put it. Rachel sent me this. Hold on, because I don't have any social media.
Neither do I.
Yeah. So
Closest I have is my blog site.
I like your blog. So I hopped on there last week, Andrew. I like the look.
Yeah, have you read the latest one?
No, I didn't read it. Where's chat in this thing?
It's on the
But
bottom
I
right.
saw the yeah, I saw the let's see here. I saw that you changed the aesthetic though.
Yeah. Honestly, I changed the aesthetic mostly because I was planning on it, and then I was testing having different models make mock-ups, and I just liked the one GLM made so much that I was like, you know what, let me just use that. It was
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna share my screen because I can't get this to work. And the screen's being recorded, right?
I'm recording it, yes.
Yeah. All right, I gotta hop off and hop right back on. I'll be
Okay.
right back. Hey,
Okay.
sorry, I had to hop off to because I had to change a system setting.
That's fine.
All right, so check this out. You'll get a kick out of this, and then it brings me to my topic.
Ah, yes. Yep. I've seen similar stuff where they're all just throwing money around and it looks like everyone's making a profit.
Oh gosh.
I like the
So
Wall
yeah.
Street Bets response under it. What could go wrong?
So my because I love bringing this stuff up. Let me pull up the article so I can credit it. Because I lost all my browser stuff. Um so I love oh Lord. I love the flying cars. You know
Yep.
that. So
I heard.
Joby, yeah, so Joby's jumping in with Nvidia. Um and actually both because the two I'm really monitoring are Joby and Archer because I think they're in a race. Um,
Didn't one of them get like FDA approval for like human tests? Not FDA, FAA approval
yes,
for human
so Joby
tests.
did. Joby did, and Joby's backed by Toyota, and now Nvidia is jumping in as well. There was 2 weeks ago, Elon posted a tweet of a Tesla flying, and it created like some market chaos. With Archer, and their stock jumped, but it because people thought he was talking about Tesla potentially acquiring Archer. Archer's been doing a ton of work with Anduril. Lucky Palmer's
Yeah.
company that's going nuts. Yeah, and I'm just looking right now. Actually, Archer's just kind of been. Let's see this week. Yeah, they're down overall, but Joby's down today too.
Stocks
Um,
are a bit chaotic lately.
totally chaotic. They're up over the week, but anyway, the topic I want to discuss is just because we're seeing this kind of now with every. I mean, it feels like Nvidia is cutting deals with everybody. Um,
They also just cannot manufacture enough chips to meet demand, which means that stock keep go up. Stonks.
stonks,
It's going to the moon until the
but
bubble bursts.
so this one is. I mean, basically everybody's. It's might as well be an Associated Press release, but Joby stock powered higher Wednesday. The electric air taxi maker late Tuesday announced that it was selected for collaboration with NVIDIA. NVIDIA selected Joby to serve as the aviation launch platform for NVIDIA's IGX Thor platform, which is an industrial grade platform for the next generation of physical AI applications. Um, Joby said that NVIDIA collaboration should enable autonomous mission management, radar and perception processing, and sensor fusion. These capabilities allow the aircraft to determine and follow optimal flight paths and adapt to weather changes and traffic patterns, improve environmental awareness, and combine data across various sensors. NVIDIA's platform should also enable the aircraft to monitor its own systems and alert when a component needs attention. I know you love this, Andrew.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it without humans. They're gonna be flying them. You're gonna
They're putting
fly.
AI in the planes.
You're gonna fly to Woodstock, New York this summer, and you're like, I don't feel like driving to the suburbs, and you're just gonna hop in a Joby air taxi, and in 15 minutes you'll be at home.
I think I'll wait till it's a bit more refined before doing that, but no. My question for them, if they're watching, probably not, but what level of redundancy are you going to have? Because traditional aircraft usually have three different flight computers
Yeah,
so that they can all compare information. So if one gives a weird reading, the others can say, no, you're wrong, stop.
right.
So
Yeah,
my
I think
question
that's where
is,
you
are
and
they
I.
only going to have one? Because that
Yeah,
seems a bit concerning. If they
yeah.
have
I think.
two and one goes wrong, well, then no one knows who's right.
Let me ask you this. This one is just I'm spitballing here, but when Waymo takes all the taxi drivers out, maybe we train the taxi drivers to be air taxi drivers.
Maybe.
Maybe there's something there. Which read a bunch of articles on Waymo this week. Are you up to speed on them?
Not fully. I know they're
Yes.
beginning in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think they're coming to Atlanta. I think they're in Houston, Austin, and they are. I actually should have saved this article. The CEO, she was um, talking about like accidents and accident rates and kind of downplaying it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we always kind of come back to the same thing. Now, I think that the flying the air taxi thing is going to be a solution for upwardly mobile, which could create less folks
Traffic
living,
congestion.
yeah, traffic congestion and people living in cities, or frees people up to do that. I think that's like where they're going to target. Um, but like on any of this autonomous stuff, Waymo, AI robots, all that. I think the question that I still have not really heard a good answer on is what do we do with all these folks that lose their jobs?
Yep. Like junior developers are also in a lot of trouble.
I know.
Yeah, the statistic for junior developers is dropping off a cliff while demand for seniors is increasing. Most likely because they realize, hey, a senior developer with AI is probably better than a junior, which is not good. I do not want that. I
Yeah.
want a job, please.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I was watching, I actually highly recommend this podcast. And they have a YouTube channel. Maybe someday we'll get to their level. Uh it's called the All In
Hmm.
podcast. Um and it's like one technologist, another guy that was at Facebook. They're all crazy smart. They're all billionaires. But they were going through some data this week just at the growth of Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, uh, kind of the magnificent seven, right?
Yeah.
And they were going through their growth, and their revenues in the trillions of these hyperscalers, but their hiring is flat or down.
Yeah.
And one of the things they were kind of discussing is it's like they have this emergency lever that they can lift whenever they want and probably do reduction in force, substantial that they just haven't done. Um, but I do think it's like one of those things we really should be trying to figure this out and think through it because we're early enough in to where if we figured out a good solution, um, the impact isn't going to be chaos. I just really concerned if we're talking about like saw UPS laid off 20,000 or 30,000 people.
Amazon just fired 14,000.
Yeah. And their revenues are higher than ever.
Yeah.
So,
And
it's like,
Microsoft said a lot of their code is written by AI, and just recently they had a Windows update that was bricking people's SSDs.
right. Yeah. I just, I hope that there needs to be thought given to this because I think in like 2 to 3 years, we're going to be in a position with enterprise and large business to, which is the largest employer, to really impact the job market
Yeah.
and beyond this niche, developers or graphic designers or I am genuinely concerned.
Yeah. In my area of niche, there's a meme going around about secure pen testers going nuts when all the vibe coded apps hit prod. Is like
So
Claude, for example, has a habit of embedding API keys in the code base instead of keeping it secure.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a good thing.
Why don't you tell folks that don't know and remind me what vibe coding is?
It has a lot of different terms, so
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you ask. The official. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna use a different browser for it to just find the tweet. But essentially, here we go. Okay, and let me share this tab. So this is the official definition from Andrei Karpathy, the original founder of it. He's an ex OpenAI engineer. Quote, there's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. It's possible because the LLMs, e.g. Cursor Composer with Sonnet, are getting too good. Also, I just talked to Composer with Super Whisper, so I barely even touch the keyboard. I ask for the dumbest things, such as decrease the padding on the sidebar by half, because I'm too lazy to find it. I accept all always. I don't read the diffs anymore. When I get error messages, I just copy paste them with no comment. Usually that fixes it. The code grows beyond my usual comprehension. I'd have to usually read through it for a while. Sometimes the LLM can't fix a bug, so I just work around it or ask for random changes until it goes away. It's not too bad for throwaway weekend projects, but still quite amusing. I'm building a project or web app, but it's not really coding. I just see stuff, say stuff, run stuff, and copy and paste stuff, and it mostly works. So generally, a lot of vibe coding is considered to be just letting the LLM do all the work, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Versus what a lot of more corporate is.
So you're kind of supervising the code.
Not with vibe coding, but more corporate is usually still having the LLM do stuff, but you're still watching, overseeing, and making sure what it's doing is right. So there's still oversight. What I've seen with a lot of vibe coding, especially, is a lot of people coding, but they don't understand how code works or any of that, which can lead to horrifically insecure crap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you're, for example, building a backend server and you have no idea how a computer works or how REST APIs work, you're going to have a problem because it is not going to be secure.
Yeah, I'm just
Imagine if
reading a couple articles on it right now. Yeah, go ahead.
the backend server that we use in our work had no authentication whatsoever and was just public facing. What do you think would happen?
No problem.
Yep. What if it just leaked company secrets? We'd have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say the name of a parent company, but
Yeah.
yeah, that would be a big problem.
Yep.
So,
Mm.
more commonly than not, though, that is what I found, where it's just let the LLM do the work, make change, ask it for changes that you want. Whereas, I, I still understand code. I know how these things function, so I have and a lot of engineers have a lot more oversight over that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more controlled.
So in a weird way, to your point you were making earlier, that the junior engineers are not as desirable right now, but the seniors are. This is kind of
Part of it.
part of it.
Yeah, because they also are more aware of how code functions. They can better diagnose problems and explain it,
Mm-hmm.
as well as for code review itself. That also requires a very strong guidance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. On to,
Nice.
on to a cybersecurity problem.
Let's go. This is one of your favorite
Yep.
topics.
A massive data leak has exposed over 183 million email passwords with tens of millions linked to Gmail accounts. Leaked online through malware infected devices, the credentials were harvested via InfoStealer malware and compiled into a database that's now circulating on the internet. While Google has confirmed that Gmail accounts are affected, the breach also includes Yahoo and Outlook users, making it one of the largest email credential leaks to date. Security experts are urging users to immediately change passwords and enable two-factor authentication, as the stolen credentials can be used for account takedowns over various platforms. Again, none of the companies were hacked. It was individual devices that were and had their info stolen and sent to a threat actor. Individuals were not hacked. Sorry, individuals were hacked. Google was not hacked. And also, a way to check if your info is in the leak for free is Have I Been Pwned? Which I would advise everyone to at least do. Let
What is
me.
that? Will you put it in the chat?
Yep, here we go.
Oh, okay.
This is haveibeenpwned.com. And you can just enter your information for free. This is run by a known cybersecurity actor who verifies stuff. So, for example, let's just say
I'm going to put mine in. Let's see what happens. Oh,
let's use hello
no.
at gmail.com, for example.
This email address has been found in multiple data breaches.
Yeah.
Review the details below.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And as you can see, hello at gmail.com has a lot of those. And it explains what the breaches are and
Dude,
what was.
Andrew, get this. One of them was Park Mobile,
Hmm.
which is like a mobile parking app, but I don't have anything recent. That's from
Yeah.
2021.
But as always, if your
What the
information is
hell is
okay,
Luxottica?
I have no clue. But as always, if any of your data is in there, I would change passwords immediately. Enable two-factor authentication. Phone and email 2FA are not secure enough. Use a two-factor authentication app, or use a password manager. Those are the best options.
Luxottica is an eyewear brand. Damn. I don't even remember buying those sunglasses.
At some point, you must have had an account with them, or someone signed it up with you.
Yeah. Well, it was 5 years ago. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
But yeah, this is really bad. With InfoStealer malware being increasingly sophisticated, should email providers implement more aggressive detection system and mandatory security measures? Or does this responsibility ultimately fall on individual users to protect their own accounts? Because
I think it's a user thing.
I think part of it is user, part of it is the company. I think they should be a lot more picky. So for example, InfoStealer malware is very subtle. Have you ever run an application and it just crashes, for example, or it just doesn't work? That could very
Oh, yeah.
easily have just been InfoStealer malware, and you just never noticed because it just runs back silently.
Right. Yeah.
It's super subtle.
Yeah.
And what happens is it looks like nothing happens, but it just steals your passwords, steals your cookies, and with that, the attacker could just copy those to their browser, and without even needing the username or password, just be you. It's super sophisticated and super scary,
Yeah.
and you can just rent them essentially, which is even worse. It's
And I
malware as a
always
service.
I always get concerned with the older folks on this stuff,
Yeah,
which we've discussed,
absolutely.
that are naive to it.
Yeah,
And as it gets more and more sinister and slick, it can trick them. And no
exactly.
matter how much I tell my mom and dad, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, lock down your systems, people. Use proper security precautions. This is never a good thing,
No,
genuinely. And
no, it's
for any
horrible.
of you, if you're watching, who have done this, you are violating the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. That is a felony in the U.S.
Preach, dude. Preach. You are putting a target on your back, but I know you're ready.
I'm a bit more locked down than most users, and I know
That's
my threat target, my threat surface. I'm not a big target, and even then, I'm a bit more cautious.
yeah, yeah. Well, good. That's good information for all the
Yeah.
folks out there.
And again,
I feel
for
like it always comes up, though. I mean, it's a constant thing. I mean, in and that's why I think it's important to be accountable yourself because trains on the tracks, like this isn't going to stop.
no, it is not. Not even close. The genie has already been let out of the
Yeah,
bottle.
100%.
All hell is going to break loose.
Yeah, yeah,
And again, for the old folks or those with a large attack target, deepfake incidents have surged dramatically in 2025, with reported cases jumping from just 50 in 2024 to over 300 this year. A six-fold increase that's raising serious alarms across industries. Financial institutions are particularly concerned as AI generated content becomes increasingly sophisticated and harder to detect from authentic material. The rise of powerful AI image editing tools has accelerated this trend, making it easier than ever for malicious actors to create convincing, fake content that exploits human vulnerabilities rather than technical flaws. Celebrity related deepfakes now account for more than a third of all incidents, highlighting how the technology is being weaponized against high profile targets.
hmm
As deepfakes become increasingly indistinguishable from reality, should we prioritize better detection software or
yeah.
focus on educating the public to be more skeptical of digital content in an era where seeing is no longer believing or
I when
hearing?
you yeah when you were describing that, I really think because this is something that it's not malicious, but I've been seeing like all these stupid posts on LinkedIn.
Why aren't these hit trending and it's like shrimp Jesus?
Yeah, I mean it's in it's or I've seen some stupid stuff with like because people love their dogs, we love their dogs, but like their dogs saving all these like
Yep,
random
the AI
and
vid.
I can't tell if it's real or not. So I think like an authenticator, which you're talking about, which if there was a mechanism to run, a
Yeah,
video or something through GPT or any of these models
yeah,
and say, is this real or is this fake?
yeah,
And if they could tell you, that would be more valuable
yeah,
than education because I think the education part,
yeah,
it's so nuanced now and it's not even that good yet.
yeah.
It's so nuanced now. I can't like
Some
with the
things, at least for right now, to look for are inconsistencies from one frame to the next, as well as details like hands. Say, with an AI generated image that might have six fingers instead of five,
right,
or with AI generated audio, inconsistency between words. And like, hello, this is Steve trying to contact you. Just like subtle tonal changes as it doesn't know the word.
right.
Those are things to look out for.
hmm
But again, most importantly of all, be very cautious. Like I've received calls, my grandmother has received calls from like saying, "Hey, Andrew's been in an accident and is currently in jail. We need 50,000 for bail." And they they spoofed my phone number. They spoofed my voice. They faked my voice. I don't know how they got it, but and it's scary, but
It's probably our podcast. Let
maybe.
me ask you this. Do you think that did they leave like a voicemail to your grandmother or did
Yes,
they
thankfully well, no, they called her and thankfully she she ended up hanging up and immediately calling me,
yeah,
which no, I'm fine.
right, right.
I
And
was
see
hit by a
that's the
truck
real
recently though.
yeah, you were in a car accident. But in that's the scary thing is if it's live.
Yeah.
If it's a file or an image or a social media direct
Yeah.
message or a text message, you know, I think that those you can take and I haven't actually tried this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to stick them in GPT and say, "Hey, is this real or fake?" Obviously, like if it's personal, if it's some sort of personal financial thing,
Yeah.
there's no,
Do
there's no,
not upload your financial documents to AI, especially on the public facing websites. Those are
yeah,
used to train the models.
yeah, 100%. But it would be cool if there was a way to authenticate. Now, I don't know what you do in a live, you answer, someone spoofs, like as an example, let's say I'm banking with, I don't know, Chase Bank, and someone spoofs Chase phone number and it shows up as Chase on my phone. I answer it and they're like, Mr. Khan,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, I don't know what you just have got to rely on instincts. But again, the older people,
Yeah.
they're not going to
If
understand
there's
this.
even the slightest red flag, say to them, I'm going to hang up, I will call my bank directly. And if they start fighting that, you know it's wrong.
Yeah, then
And
yeah, that's
immediately
good
hang
advice.
up. Call your
Good
bank to
advice.
confirm what they said.
Yeah, that's good advice, Andrew.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
even a red flag. If there's even an orange flag, for example,
Yeah, anything that seems off, let's get out of there. And then let's not open anything when it gets emailed to you.
do not. Especially if it's, say, if it has a file extension you do not recognize, do not open it. If
Hmm.
there's any red flags, do not open it. Most providers will not email you a zip file, especially one that's encrypted. That is a big red flag, and you should not trust it. If it's something like an SCR file that you haven't read, that's a screensaver file for Windows. It is functionally an exe. There are a lot of different files that are functionally an exe. Do not trust it.
Yep.
But thankfully, at least Google is trying to make things a bit better with AI image editing. Is their model when they edit images does embed some metadata saying that it was edited by AI.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is super easy to clear that.
Uh,
Yeah.
from a like code perspective,
Yeah, it is super easy to clean metadata.
Terry wants to be on the
Hi,
cat.
Terry. Hi.
He's wanting to eat.
When don't dogs want to eat?
Oh my god! They have like an internal clock. He just knows. He knows. That's the only reason why he's over here bugging me because he wants me to feed him.
You got another topic? Because I've got one more.
Nope, I'm all out. I
Okay.
only had the Joby thing.
Yep. So, do you remember on October 20th when half the internet went down?
Yep.
Amazon Web Services suffered a major outage on October 20th, 2025, when a DNS resolution failure in the US East 1 region disrupted countless online services and businesses worldwide. The incident, described as one of the most significant cloud disruptions in recent years, impacted major platforms and caused estimated losses of roughly 75 million an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Financial analysts predict the total economic damage could reach into the hundreds of billions due to lost productivity across millions of workers. The outage highlighted the internet's heavy reliance on AWS infrastructure and raised serious questions about cloud reliability as businesses increasingly depend on single providers for critical operations. With AWS outages potentially costing billions in damages and disrupting half the internet, should regulators or companies require mandatory multi cloud redundancy for critical infrastructure, or should market focus and provider accountability drive the solution?
That's where it's going.
Yeah.
It's going to be multi vendor cloud for redundancy. And I'll tell you where this ends up. I think Amazon has like, or AWS has. I should have got this data exactly right. I think they've got like 45 or 50% market share right now.
Yeah.
Azure's got like 45. They're right in behind them.
Yeah. And GCP's, yeah.
And then Google, yeah, and then Google comes in at third. I think they all end up a third, a third, a third, and it all the enterprises move to a multi vendor cloud provider
Yeah.
for redundancy. For just using this example,
I remember a politician was saying that you should break up AWS. That is not the correct answer.
mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, despite them being so powerful, they they're fine. They aren't abusing their authority to my knowledge. This is mostly a freak accident.
Mm-hmm.
Is DNS resolution is hard on the best of days.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for the engineer who did that by accident, but
I do find a bit of irony in all of it, uh, from the hardware world I come from, right? It's like when all the enterprises move to a hybrid cloud model, which is some on-prem data center gear or server gear, and then relying on Azure, AWS, etc. That like the idea behind that was redundancy.
Yeah. And then
And they move
Amazon.
to it, then they then they go, we're going to give everything to AWS and nothing on prem, and then something like this happens, and so now they're going to have to go with this
Yeah.
multi cloud vendor
Which
model.
gets even more expensive.
So you could see it'll be interesting. It's so fresh; I haven't seen any of this yet. Um, but it'd be interesting to see if some of these enterprise accounts that rely on AWS, right? If they go, instead of going multi-vendor, they go, we're going to go back on prem.
Yeah.
But then I just wonder if that's so difficult, because most of these folks have unloaded their data centers. So,
Yeah.
if they own data centers or colo data centers, they've gotten rid of them. And so then that just becomes like an expensive can of worms to open up. It's probably
Yeah.
cheaper to just go multi-vendor. But
Also, for those viewers who are unaware of essentially what happened, DNS is kind of like a phone book of the internet. It essentially says, oh, I want to go to google.com. Oh, okay, google.com is located at this IP address. So then it takes you there. Without a DNS, the website or the server farms, in this case, cannot communicate effectively. So in this case, they somehow effed up their DNS resolver, so nothing could communicate with anyone else, and thus everything went down.
yeah,
Took a little bit to fix, and the internet died for a little bit.
Andrew, I actually don't know, but I'm just curious because I know where most of their data center presence is. Was it multi sites for them, or was it
Well,
one
US
site?
East 1 is made of multiple server farms. They're all
Okay.
communicating and backed up to each other. It
Okay.
was only US East 1 that went down, though.
Okay.
But US East 1 is big, very big.
Yeah, that's in that mid Atlantic.
Yeah,
Is where their big presence is. Yeah.
yeah. I believe that's their biggest area.
Yeah. That one's massive. Um,
Essentially, think of it this way: none of the servers knew who anyone else was. No one could talk to the servers because no one knew who was what and where, and thus everything ground to a halt.
mm,
Think of it like saying, "Hi, I don't know you. Go away."
right. Right. Yeah. Well, hasn't impacted, again, going back, has not impacted their performance.
Yeah,
I know it did probably right after that happened, but
yeah.
I think they're fine now.
I'm
Kind of like
guessing
you remember
that
CrowdStrike. You remember the CrowdStrike
Clown
stuff, right?
Strike.
CloudStrike's killing it.
Oh yeah, that was a funny time.
Yeah. Well, I think that was like a shared accountability thing. I think it was just as much on Delta as it was.
Well, that wasn't. I don't blame Delta for that. CrowdStrike, I think, is mostly at fault.
Mhm,
Airlines, though, have problems with legacy infrastructure.
mhm.
Like, the main system that is used for booking across all aircraft and all that is still based off a CLI, or command line interface,
Yeah.
that has been developed in, I believe, the 80s and has not been updated since. So that's a problem that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no one wants to spend the money to change it, and the government does not want to spend the money to force everyone to change it. So everyone is still using the system.
Andrew, are you dressing up for anything for Halloween?
No, I'm just going to be a deranged person.
You're going to be deranged? You're going to give out candy or what are you doing?
Probably. I'm going to release all of the Jerry's.
What what candy are you going to give out?
I do not know at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to go with either. I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
We're going out of town, so
Yeah.
um
Enjoy.
yeah, my daughter's going to dress up as Guy Fieri. She's
Ah, the
reprising her
chef.
role. Yeah, the chef. She did it 2 years ago. It was awesome. So she's gonna do it again. She wanted to be Bob Ross. Do you remember that?
Oh, the painter, yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, I
Happy
don't.
little accidents.
Yeah, I have a little. But I was like, I don't think anybody's gonna know who you are. Like the kids. So anyway, well, cool.
Last year, one of the kids called me a boomer.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm a zoomer.
Why would they do that? Why would they say
I
that?
don't know. But yeah, check passwords, use secure protocols, lock down your systems.
Yeah.
Genu-
Also, I like that. Anything that seems off, if it seems off,
don't trust it.
don't trust it.
Genuinely, slightest flag at all. Not even red, maybe orange. Do not trust.
Yeah. Get out of there.
A, genuinely, for cybersecurity, assume everyone is out to get you.
Yeah. Yep. Well, cool, Andrew.
Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Happy Halloween.
Oh, yes.
And we'll see
Happy
you on the
Halloween.
next episode. Until then, power off.